Hey guys, so the Federal Reserve released their report for industrial production for the month of October. And keep in mind, we're talking about production, not pricing. Okay, so this is actual the amount of goods that are being produced. Okay, not the prices of those goods. So this is not an inflationary consideration. This is more of the supply side of looking at how much. Of goods, well, in this case, industrial goods that are being produced. So, big thing, 1.6% increase for the month of October, which is following up a decline for the month of September. So that's a good thing. Ultimately, mining was up 4.1%. Big news there. Now, one thing that stood out to me, overall capacity utilization is up for the month of October, which is good. But overall, we're seeing capacity utilization in every segment of the report, for the most part, aside from a couple, really just one item, is actually hitting or exceeding the long-term average capacity utilization for that segment. That's a telling sign, and that ultimately is indicative of the struggling economy and struggling supply chain, struggling production side of our economy right now, right? I mean, the labor shortage, over and over and over again, that we're seeing it play out in the data that producers are having a difficult time, whether it's goods or services. Producers are having a difficult time. So we'll continue to watch this, but ultimately there's the other good side of it as well is that ultimately if capacity utilization increases, which there is room for it to increase, of course, if it increases, then we're looking at scenarios where earnings go up because, as capacity utilization increases, well, efficiency increases, they're typically married, and that therefore drives profit margins and earnings. So there's room for us to improve from here, which is ultimately, good news. But ultimately, we've got to stay on top of this and make sure we're monitoring this because next year is going to be a big year for our economy and ultimately for the markets, right? I mean, we're anticipating, at least the Federal Reserve is telling us to anticipate a decline in inflation and a decline in these supply chain constraints. We'll just have to wait and see if they're right or not. If they are, we've got a lot of steam behind us. If they aren't, we've still got a lot of steam behind us economically, and so we do expect things to continue to move forward for the foreseeable future at least. So all is well. We'll keep monitoring things for you, and we will talk to you soon. So now we're talking about residential construction for the month of October. Interesting information here. Nothing earth-shattering, but it's all about multifamily in this one. We saw some significant increases there. Overall, to give you the highlights, building permits came in at 1.65 million, housing starts 1.52 million, and housing completions for the month of October 1.242 million. Some nothing overly earth-shattering there. We are seeing, though, for housing completions, we saw a 1.7% increase for single-family housing completions. For multifamily, now this is considered units that have 5 units or more, 470,000 for that number for multifamily units. So ultimately, we're looking at a scenario where single-family starts are actually down 10.6%, while multi-unit starts are actually up 36.6%. So, again, the same old story. You have to kind of read between the lines a little bit on this report, but ultimately, labor shortages, construction, materials issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Same story, different month. We're not seeing really any significant improvements there. especially with rates this low. Folks, you and I, we have really low mortgage rates. Well, guess what? They're low for the construction companies as well, right? Everybody gets to take advantage of these low rates. So yeah, do they want to build and take advantage of these ridiculously low rates? They absolutely do. They can't. They can't get people. They can't get materials. So big constraint there. In housing is a big contributor to GDP. So I do anticipate that the demand side will continue to drive that, and ultimately builders will build as quickly as they can build. So we'll keep watching it. Talk to you soon. Hi everybody. So the Census Bureau released the October retail sales data, which is interesting. So we were up for the month of October. From September to October of 2021, we were up 1.7%, which is an interesting number. And that is comparing to a 0.8% increase for the month of September. So quite a bit of a jump there month over month. But then year over year, we're looking at a 19.6% increase overall as far as retail and food services. So that is obviously a very big number. Motor vehicle sales up 25.8%. Furniture and home furniture 29.1%. Electronics and appliance stores 28.6%. Building materials 13.6%. Clothing and clothing accessories 53.6%. Gasoline stations was a big jump, 34.6%. Sporting goods 31%. And food services and drinking places up 30.4%. So big jumps in, and this is not prices. This is actual sales. So gross economic activity, if you will, but a big increase. And again, just more evidence here that, and I'm putting at a screen here with the Census Bureau report on it. The moral of the story here is just like we've been saying, demand is very, very strong. The supply chain is broken, and that's what's causing, not only is it the broken supply chain, but it's just simply the fact that demand is stronger than it should be because they've given so much free money away. Rates are artificially low. Cash is too plentiful right now, and inflation always will be, as Milton Friedman taught us decades ago. Inflation is always subjected and ultimately a result of supply and demand on the money supply. And right now, we just have too much available money. And so this is showing up, continuing to show up in all of the data. Retail sales, once again, confirms it. So we'll continue to watch things. So holiday shopping is here. Have you run into any issues finding things? I know we have, as a family of 7 with 5 kids. We've had some issues finding the actual gifts that our kids want. So have you run into any issues, and what are you doing about it? We've had to make some significant changes to our Christmas shopping list as our family struggles with finding the things that they want. What have you guys done? Let us know in the comments below. We'll talk to you soon.